go. All right, looks like we're good. All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome, folks. I am so sorry that we are running a little behind. I needed to do a lot of extra special prep for this evening's show. I needed to be able to go back into our archives and look. I needed to be able to talk to a few people, and I can let you guys know that for the first time in a very long time, we are going to be working off of handwritten notes that are nearly 4 pages of handwritten notes based off of a timeline of a couple videos. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. If you have liked this video in the YouTube side, hit the thumb, did your thing. I want to say thank you. If you are a subscriber, I want to say thank you. If you are considering subscribing, this video or last night's video really should be the 2 videos that have you saying, hell yes, I want to be a subscriber. This is where I want to get my political information from. As I have promised many of you, we are going to start getting into the national side of things. It's been nearly a month and a half since I've talked about national politics, and my Lord, it's like we've literally, in that month and a half, we've missed basically a lifetime of politics. So, we will be getting back into national politics. We'll be covering that in a playlist. Brandon and I have a lot of good ideas that when Brandon gets back from his super secret mission, we're going to start bringing you some content that you guys are going to absolutely be in love with. And of course, the lives here are going to remain Sunday through Thursday, and maybe sometimes on Saturdays too. That's the best way I can say it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bilbrey Live. Perception is reality. Bastards of politics. The political spotlight. It's all of it together. It's all of it in one. I am Kristopher Bilbrey. Our producer, Kate, is down in the duck helping us out. You guys are fantastic. The audience, I don't know. A couple of you are saying that you didn't receive a notification. For that, I could tell you, go in and hit the subscription, unsubscribe, and then resubscribe. Just do it really quickly, like in, out, and see if that helps you. I am so sorry for that. You know how it is sometimes with newer channels. They like to do a bunch of weird things, but we are slowly getting there. And I'm going to ask you to continue helping us out with that. Share the show with everyone you know. So tonight, we're going to be talking about in-house stuff. Tonight's not going to be necessarily political corruption from Muncie or political corruption from Newcastle or Henry County. We are not going to be talking about necessarily Winchester or state government. We're not going to be talking about national politics. We're going to be talking about internal politics. Internal politics. So we're going to be here and we're going to be talking. I hope Civic Duty joins us. I hope the Political Knight joins us. I was talking with the Political Knight earlier, and he didn't understand what the problem was. Hey, what's the problem? We're going to be getting into all of that. We're going to be discussing it. And I want to read a couple of these comments here just briefly that Kate put up on the screen because it's very important. And I'll tell you, it's important in this job, in what we do, that your word is your bond, that your word is your word. And if I were to come on here and fill you guys with a bunch of, horse crap, and you guys were like found that out in the next day or so, there would be no reason for you to come back ever again. I come on and I tell things how it is. I do my very best to get all the information and to run things down before we talk about it, to run things down. Sometimes I will sit on information for a year. I've sit on information for up to a year and a half before that I've wanted to release but couldn't, and then finally had the ability to release it. I do not consider myself a true sense of the word journalist. I guess in 2023's definitions, some people may consider me a journalist or some form of journalism. I do not consider it that. I consider me to be a media personnel. I consider this to be a media network, our media platform. I consider Kate and Brandon and I to be members of the media, of the press, the larger press at large. But I don't consider us to be journalists. I think that we delve too far into the opinion side of things to be considered a Dan Rather or Walter Cronkite, Murrow journalist. I'm just not a journalist. I'm not really interested in being a journalist. A journalistic art, maybe that might be a thing. But no, I consider myself, I'm a political commentator, and that's what we do here is we give you political commentary. That being said, it wouldn't do me to lie. It wouldn't do me to lie to you. It wouldn't do me on here and tell you guys false information about Dan Ridenour, about Mayor Bob. Because if I do that and they easily come back and they smack me down, well, then there goes the show. There's no point in watching. No point in anybody following along. No one's going to just watch a flat out liar night after night after night after night. I don't know. So, a couple things that a couple of you said here. Josh Fisher says, Kristopher has never been an ill-willed type of person towards anyone that did not bring it upon themselves. Chris is a solid dude. I seen him send out condolences to family who lost loved ones, etc. People who I've considered enemies, yada, yada, yada. Look, I'm not going to be in here. This is not a me trying to sing my praises type of thing. I don't burn sources. If someone gives me information and asks me to keep it to myself, I keep it to myself. Because I'm not a journalist, a lot of journalists, I've never been to journalism school, but I've known plenty of journalists, and I work around journalists, and I'm friends with a lot of journalists, and I've talked to them, and I've taken enough information and been around them long enough. I know that they tell you that when you're dealing with sources, as a newspaper writer or someone in the news media on TV, they want you to use as many named sources as possible and only use an unnamed source if that's the last dig, okay? My sources and my connections that I have in places, and I mean I have sources in every aspect of government. Local government, state government, various state governments around the United States, and the national government. I have sources in literally every corner of Indiana's political world, Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, and on and on and on. And those people I have worked hard to foster those relationships with. Some of them I consider friends, some of them I consider enemies, but they all tell me information, and it's all good information. I have sources that I don't necessarily believe fully, and I have to vet that information out. But when I bring you information and I say this is from an unnamed source, or this is something that I heard from a source close to, the mayor's office, or this is coming from a source from inside law enforcement on the Delaware County Sheriff's Department, the Muncie City Police Department, the Indianapolis State, Indiana State Police, or something like that, you don't have to buy that. But I tell you what, I bet you all of the money in the world. I bet you your house, your dog, your kids, your wife, anything that you want to bet, that when I'm telling you that, that's the God's honest truth. There's no reason for me to lie about that. If you want to know who it is and you don't get to know who it is, and because I don't tell you, you choose not to believe me, that's on you. But a lot of people have decided they don't even fight me on that, because generally what I say comes true. That doesn't mean I'm not God. I'm not Jesus. I'm not the all-seeing everything. I do get things wrong. I'm not perfect. And when I get things wrong, I admit that I'm wrong. And when I am wrong, I come directly to you and I tell you, I am wrong. I work hard to give information in a timely manner. We break a lot of news here. All right, we break a lot of news here. But I don't consider myself a journalist. And matter of fact, that's a fight that I would have with Josh frequently. I would be like, he would say journalist, and I'd say, no, I'm not a journalist. You can say you're a journalist if you want, but I am not a journalist. Because I believe hard in that rule of needing to be able to give information when you need to. An unnamed source, Kate and the Duck. The Duck, ladies and gentlemen, the program that we stream from is called StreamYard, and the mascot for StreamYard is a mallard, is a duck. And so instead of saying StreamYard, because they don't pay us, we do quite the opposite. Happy politicians here with a stroke of corruption here and there. Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, let me get on here. Let's see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Like tonight? Okay, let me work there. Yeah, we could probably work that in. I'll shoot you a message. That we can probably work that out. That shouldn't be a problem. So, friend or enemy, Chris would never do or say anything to Louis to ruin his life, for that matter, make his life better. That's a spotlight on you, and you just make it. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, absolutely. The beanbag incident. I mean, I knew about the beanbag incident. I know about most incidents shortly thereafter they happen. It's just a thing that happens. Listen, it's not because I'm special, or it's not because whatever. It's because I've been around for as long as I've been around. I'm a younger guy. I am only 40, 41. I'm something like that. One of those. I'm 40 or 41. 41, I think. And because of that, it's not bullshit when I say, like, I've been politicking since I've been like 8 years old. My grandparents are watching, and like they could tell you, I used to stand on this little podium when I was a little kid and recite Kennedy's inauguration speech, or Reagan, this or that. And so this has just been a long time. Yeah, that's what the duck means, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people ask about that. It's not anything major. It's just there the duck is up in the top hand corner, powered by StreamYard, and then you see the duck with the headphones. But they don't pay us. We pay them. We pay them to stream our stuff. So when they want to sponsor us, I'll start saying StreamYard. Until then, it's the duck. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this craziness, because we've got a lot to talk about. So, that'd be hilarious. Hello, Jonathan Reed. Hello, how you doing, sir? Man, he's been gone so long, he doesn't even remember my name starts with a K. We'll forgive you. Okay. So I want to be clear. This thing that's getting ready to happen here, you're all right, bro. I was just kidding you. I mean, it does start with a K, but I'm just giving you a hard time. This is not a fight between necessarily Josh and I. This is going to be kind of a fight, a standing up for myself, not really even against Louis, but it's against youth and inexperience and ignorance is what I'm going to say this is. So and I'll talk about the missing 12 minutes in a little bit too. So here's the thumbnail for tonight's show. Episode 22, and it is called McCoy, Galligan, and the Truth. McCoy, Galligan, and the Truth. Everyone knows Robert Bob McCoy is the mayor of Winchester, Indiana. Louis Galligan is a 20-year-old citizen of Winchester. He was originally friends with Mayor Bob, and then sometime in early mid-June, he said he had some kind of a falling out with Mayor Bob, and then he quickly wanted to speak with Josh, wanted to inform Josh of some things. Josh brought him into the mix, and he told us some things, and I was kind of blown away by things that he was saying. I didn't really ever trust him. I didn't trust him from day one. Brandon didn't trust him. And, Josh said, I'm going to give him, and in fairness, Josh didn't flat out trust him. Josh said, I'm not giving him the keys to the kingdom. I'm going to, work with him here a little bit and see what he's got to say. But, I'm just keeping him at arm's length. So we'll see what's going to happen. I don't have a problem with that. I don't fight Josh. I'm not mad at Josh for that. To each their own. I had no desire to have Louis around. And it's not necessarily because he used to be with Bob, but I don't have many 20-year-olds around. I don't have many 70-year-olds beating my door down to be my friend. I don't have friends that are 70 years old. I know people that are 70 years old, and I have acquaintances that are 70 years old, but I don't have friends that are 70 years old because our life is not even in the same universe. Likewise, I don't have many friends that are 20 years old because our lives do not travel in the same spheres, not even in the same universe. We do not have a lot in common. Now, that being said, if there's a 20-year-old that is a child, that is a kid, that is coming in and is wanting to get involved with politics, I've got no problem with trying to mentor someone or whatever. But, I'm just not going to be, chilling with this kid and kicking it. Now, in all fairness, Josh has said to me multiple times, it's not like I was out here just living it, kicking it with Louis. He was just around a lot. And so he was around and, he would be in the same public places I was at. And, we're all in public. So it's not like Josh owns a specific area of City Hall parking lot. And, if he's there, he can tell Louis not to come. That's not the case. So, it is what it is, So, yeah, I don't have many friends. That's hilarious. I've got a good number of friends. I've got a good number of friends, a gooder number of enemies, and an even bigger number of people that I just really don't care one way or another about. So Louis started spewing information Josh was interested in that information, and Josh came to me when we were partners working on things together. Josh and I thought it might be interesting to do an interview with Louis Galligan. Now, when I do interviews, different than when I do stuff, I like to do interview prep. I like to talk to the source. And I like to get information and find out, what the source is wanting to talk about, what they're trying to bring to the table. If I've got any preconceived notions, maybe I want to talk to them about or whatever. And that's kind of what we do. And so basically, on the 19th of June, 2023, there was a Winchester City Council meeting. And at that city council meeting, I was present, Josh was present, and Joan Ashley was present. Several others were. After that meeting, I tore out of there quickly, needing to get home because I went live on the 19th of June. And we were sitting here doing a live just as we do. Some of you will probably remember this. We were doing a live. Kate was down on the duck. Niles and I were communicating. And Josh Kimbrell came in their home. Josh and the Thornburgs live very close to each other. And Josh walked in their home because he had been down at Joan's house. What I had learned was, after the meeting, I left Winchester, came home to do a live. Joan got a phone call and was told that the people across the street were causing some troubles, and this is where Louis was. So Josh and Joan and the chief of police and several other people sped off down the street, and Josh was there, and he was videoing and he was doing, all this stuff. And there is a video that Josh has of all of this. And Josh and Louis were kind of mouthing each other, and Louis's parents got there, and they were kind of mouthing Josh, and that was going back and forth. And then at one point, Louis said something about the mayor, and Josh said, my beef's not with you. My beef is with the mayor. And you just get it because, you've been with him and saying all this stuff. Well, when he said that, Louis's mom looked at Louis and said, yeah, I've told you you shouldn't be hanging around him. It's crazy that you're hanging around a 60-year-old man anyways. And then in that instance, it's like things changed. It went from Louis and his parents ganging up on Josh to Josh and Louis's parents ganging up on Louis about hanging out with Bob. And shortly thereafter, Louis then started saying, yeah, I know, we're not friends anymore, da-da-da-da-da. And him and Josh started talking. Josh came in and got in on the live and said, hey, I want this live to wrap up soon because I need to talk to you. So we ended the live pretty soon thereafter. I talked to Josh, myself, Josh, Kate, Niles, a bunch of us were talking, and we found out that Louis said that he was no longer friends with Bob and that he had information that we would be interested. And no, you're absolutely true. Absolutely true, John. That's very true. That was one of the things that was said. If I'm in the gang, I'm in your gang, and we have a falling out, and immediately I'm ready to jump in bed with the other gang, it's kind of like, wait a minute, where is your loyalty? And that was the question that a lot of people had. That was the question that Brandon said. That was the question that Kate and I said. A lot of people said, what's up with this? So I listened to these interviews. I looked at the text messages and whatnot. We decided between the 19th and whenever an interview occurred, I would just talk to Louis and try to find out if there was worth doing an interview. And from what Louis told me, and I told him many times, yo, you know, what you're telling me, by God, dude, it better be the truth, you know, because I'm not going to be the one saying it. And we all talked about this as a team, Kate and Brandon and Josh and I, you know, what if Louis is lying to us? What if Louis is trying to set us up, trying to get us to say things so that then Bob can say, look, they were saying this. Keep in mind, this was all before the protective order stuff went to court. And so it was a big, big thing. You know what I mean? And the way I looked at it is, look, I'm asking questions. I'm simply asking questions. Louis is going to answer the question, and the words are going to be coming out of Louis's mouth. If I ask him a question and he says, I don't want to answer, okay. If I ask him a question and he says X, Y, and Z, it's Louis saying X, Y, and Z. If Louis brings us a text message where Bob McCoy says, hey, bring me the cocaine, and Louis says, this is a text message from Bob, I have no proof it came from Bob. All I have is the word of Louis. If Bob then gets on there and says, look, Bilbrey put up a post of me saying, bring the cocaine, I'm going to go, I didn't do that. Louis brought it forward. Louis did that. So I said, you know, I'm just going to put up some heavy disclaimers and we'll ask Louis the questions and we'll let Louis guide the way that we go. And this will be Louis's ball game. And we'll just be there to kind of guide where we go. So on the 28th of June, 2023, we sat down and we sat down for an interview at 9 p.m. Louis did not show up at 9 p.m. It is what it is. I didn't know. I kind of thought for a second, oh, he's not going to show up. And so it, you know, it was kind of, it was interesting, because you know, I didn't know what was going to happen. So he then did show up in the 10 o'clock hour, and we did about an hour and 15-minute long interview with him. And let me tell you, it was explosive. The interview that Louis gave and the things that he said was explosive. Before we get into the video of this, I want to read to you kind of what I've shared as the tag for this on social media, because it's very telling. So I said, episode 2022 is about truth. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. It's about truth. Who would have ever guessed that I would be making this post? I did. I mean, I, for one, knew that it was coming. Brandon knew that it was coming. I think that Kate knew that it was coming. I think, you know, other people probably closer to Josh even thought it was coming. And I think somewhere in the back of his mind, Josh even knew that it was coming. Here's the deal. Tonight's episode 2022 will be covering my thoughts on the most recent Civic Duty video showing Louis Galligan talking to Winchester Mayor Bob McCoy on Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. In that video, Galligan and Mayor McCoy mention a lot of issues that were brought up in an interview that I conducted with Louis Galligan on the 28th of June, 2023. That interview was a big show. It was explosive, and it had a lot of people talking for a long time. People are still talking because of it. However, now, as of Sunday, September 3rd, 2023, when Civic Duty's newest video aired showing a conversation between Galligan and the mayor. It looks as though Galligan is attempting to talk his way out of claims that he made on the 28th of June. Now, to be fair, you have to know that the video between the mayor and Galligan took place on the 9th of August. The 9th of August. So it's almost a month old. Who knows how many more conversations like this that Louis and the mayor have had since. But Josh released it almost as soon as he got it. He got it at the end of the week last week. He put it up and he put it to release. It is how it is. The bottom line is he was lying to me then, or he's lying to the mayor now. Either way, whatever he's doing, one of those times he is lying. Probably both of those times, if the truth be told. And he's throwing me under the bus while doing it. Whatever he is doing, he's throwing me under the bus. He's throwing Josh under the bus a little bit, and he's saying some shitty things about Josh, and we'll point those out too. But he's throwing me out. What he's trying to do is he's trying to make a common enemy for him and Bob to bond around, and that's Kristopher Bilbrey. And if I'm going to be the enemy in their lives that bring those two assholes together, then by God, I'm fine with that, and we'll take them both down. I'm fine with that too. I never particularly had an issue with Louis Galligan. I didn't believe him to be trustworthy, and this just seals the deal. Tonight, we're going to explain what those issues are. So, for those of you that maybe didn't see it the first time, all right, for those of you that didn't see it, I want to let you know, Charlize, the video is up, okay? There are some incorrect beliefs that this video was taken down, or that I was forced to take this video down, or somebody asked me to take it down, and that is not correct. For those of you that you know, it's up. It is on our channel here at the Political Spotlight. It's called Louis Galligan Sits Down for a Conversation with Bilbrey. And here's just, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bilbrey Live Part 2. This is called A Conversation with Louis Galligan. Everybody is aware of what's going on. We're going to be talking to somebody that literally, until here just recently, we've looked at as kind of an adversarial position. Now, okay. So that's that. You know where we are there. That's what the interview is. Here's Louis talking. Yeah. Okay. So
the only time I would see or be able to communicate with Meeks actually would be on my grandfather. He is our family attorney. So I was always in communication. My grandfather's very sick and very old. So sometimes, if we have to make changes to our family,
always like that. So that's the talk. That's the video there. Okay. Now, the video in question that we're talking about, the new video, Josh's video, it is up on his channel and on Civic Duty's channel, and it's called When They Think No One Is Watching, But We See It All. Okay? So what we're going to do here, I'm going to post in the description of this video, there will be a link to the full interview that I did on the 28th. You can also just find that on the channel. under the
Are you
videos.
going to post the link to both parts of it? Because that was the night Kate screwed up.
Yeah, no, I went through and I've got the full video, so I will talk about that just briefly. It was a two-parter. There was a video where it was just me and Josh talking for an hour, and then part 2 is the Josh video, and that was the video where right when we were bringing Louis on, and it would have just been one very long video, Kate accidentally ended the show. And so she ended the show, which that night I was pissed about. I was mad about it. I was like, I didn't really say anything to her, but I was like, oh my God, we've got so many people watching, and she pressed the button. And like, folks, so you know, it's like a big red button that says end broadcast. It says end broadcast. Like, it doesn't say like, hey, press this for flowers. It doesn't say like, hey, this is a cool button. If you press this, a great smell will come out into the air. It says end broadcast. I got to tell you, multiple times I have wanted to hit it accidentally, just doing something else. I've about hit it several times, specifically on my phone. So I get what she did. Now that it happened, I'm so happy that it happened, because it took that video from the one long video of Josh and I talking. That was there. And then the Louis and I video was its own video. So it turned out to be, going back to earlier comments, a happy little accident. You know? So if you just end the show here, that's all right. You just paint a little tree over it, and it's just a happy little accident. So, okay. It was awesome. The first video I'm not posting because it was literally us building up to the interview, and we weren't like telling who it was. So it was us going like, who is it gonna be? I don't know, because we were trying to get him on the show. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Herbert the Pervert. I used to be able to do Herbert the Pervert's voice from hey there, kid. Oh no, I can't do it. Hey there, kid. I can't. I would need to hear it. What's the Bob McCoy impression? Which one? Anyways, yeah. So here's the Josh video. In the description, yeah, that was it. Hey, kid. I need to listen to it. I'll be able to do it. I'll tell you what I'll do. Between the now and tomorrow, I'll listen to it. And I used to be able to do it very well. And it works because my middle name is Herbert. Oh, that's good. I like that joke about your Bob Ross sounding like Bob McCoy. That's funny too. So that hurt my throat. You will be able to get the full-length video of the interview with Louis, and you will be able to get the full link for the video for Josh's video, and you'll be able to find that in the description. You'll also be able to find Josh's video on his channel, my video on my channel, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now let's go forward. This is going to be absolutely fun.
You cannot. After the shit you said about me, sorry, buddy.
I get met with resistance, but I don't bow down.
Get flat. Any problems? Shit you said about.
Listen, it comes in. Louis comes in and says, "Hey, Bob, can I talk to you?" And Bob says, "No, you cannot. After the shit you said about me, no, you cannot." And Louis says, you know, something like, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please, please, oh, please, can I please, oh, pretty please ask you a question? And Bob says, okay, well, go ahead for old time's sake.
Can I ask you a question? You cannot.
Bob is just absolutely one of the least pleasant assholes that, I mean, like, he's just not a pleasant person, man. He's just not a pleasant person.
The shit you said about me. Sorry, buddy. Just quick question. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Go ahead. Now, before we go forward, I want to say this. Bob McCoy is not a good mayor. Bob McCoy, in my opinion, is not a good person. Bob McCoy is not, I think he's probably got to be a shitty friend. I'm not going to comment on him as a husband or a father. That's personal and private, whatever. I've got my opinions. I'll keep them to myself. I just don't think he's a good person. Okay? I don't think that he's a good person. That being said, I am only going to bash Bob McCoy on the things that he does. I have no reason to lie about Bob. I will never lie about Bob, and I will only talk about things that he does in his record. I will not make something up about him or anyone else. I will specifically not make up the fact that somebody is a sexual predator or a sexual offender or someone tried to do some kind of sexual weirdness. That is a very serious allegation. I'm a former police officer. I worked sex crimes for a period of time, and I'm telling you, there is nothing. I honestly believe that women and men that falsify sex crimes reports, they need to do the exact same time as the crime that they were alluding to would carry. So, for example, if a woman accuses a man of rape and the man committed the rape and the man is going to go off and do 16 years in prison, if the woman accuses a man of rape and it did not happen and it's a false allegation, that woman should do 16 years in prison. If a man makes up a false allegation of something here, there, or whatever, vice versa. So I don't joke around with it. It's not something that I would that there's just no place in that. And you'll understand why I say that here in a little bit. The other thing that I am going to say before we get started in this, in my interview that I did with Bob McCoy, with Louis Galligan, in my description, the description says, this is an explosive look at the underbelly of politics in Winchester, Randolph County, Indiana. Host Kristopher H. Bilbrey welcomes special guest Louis Galligan to the show. Just one question. Why? Who is this Galligan? Well, as it turns out, Louis might still be some kind of friend and or political supporter of Winchester, Indiana Mayor Bob McCoy. Louis is someone that has been or had been a go-to for the mayor when he wanted someone to run interference with those that questioned the mayor and his actions. But then, as the end of June 2023 rolled around, Louis allegedly found himself on the outside of the mayor's friend circle. And it was then that Louis began communicating with Joshua Civic Duty Kimbrell, and that is how Louis ended up on Bilbrey's radar. This interview, in-depth conversation took place only at the insistence of Louis Galligan, stating he wanted to set the record straight. Louis and Bilbrey talked about everything that had been happening over the last year and a half in Winchester, Randolph County, Indiana. Galligan shares his perspective on everything that makes up this very strange and possibly dirty world of politics in Winchester, Randolph County, Indiana. This is a conversation you will not want to miss. Important disclaimer. The allegations made in this video are allegations made solely by Louis Galligan. All attempts have been made to confirm all information. All statements made and all actions taken that have been attributed to Robert Bob McCoy. On Wednesday, June 28th, 2023, McCoy did confirm through a statement that he made directly to Kimbrell and Bilbrey on camera that he, in fact, had sent at least some of the alleged text messages to Galligan. McCoy did this by confirming way of clarifying a point, clearing up a question, and using the exact wording that had been used in text messages. These sent messages were provided by Galligan ahead of the interview. Any and all other allegations are simply that, allegations. They were all initially provided by Louis Galligan. The host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, either under the banner of the Bastards of Politics and or the Political Spotlight, is and was simply asking questions and giving his opinion on situations involving political figures based off of information provided by Louis Galligan. As is true with every American, Mayor Robert Bob McCoy is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law when dealing with anything criminal that he may or may not have been accused of. End of disclaimer. I put that disclaimer up the night that the interview took place. So I just want to be real clear. I was worried then that there might be some of the story that might not add up. But we were going with information that we were being told was it. We saw pictures, yada, yada, yada. We had some confirmation from Bob. And at the end of the day, we went with it. Here is now where we progress, and it starts off right off the bat. Let's rock and roll.
Bob, I don't want any problems with this.
You caused problems when you made false accusations. Civil suit, 2 years, I got filed.
Okay. What false accusations? I'm not recording.
When you were interviewing with the Bastards of Politics, you insinuated something that was wrong.
What did I insinuate?
I don't know. I can't remember the whole thing, but I've got it on tape, and I will file a civil suit.
Okay. I mean, you have the right to do that.
I do that. You know what I'm talking about.
The comment that was made that I filed a report to the prosecutor on was a comment that was made by members of your own staff that you were trying to set me up by getting me to go into a bar, and then you were going to have charges pressed on me. So I went to the prosecutor's office and just asked for guidance. That's all I said on the video, that it was being...
It's not what Mr. Bilbrey alluded to.
Well, you and I both know.
Okay, right there. What they're talking about is the fact that the big question that was asked, Louis is saying, the comment that I made, I was trying to say that Bob was setting me up by having me come into a bar. All right. We're going to jump and listen to that comment right here. So there's no confusion whatsoever. Here we go. That being said, I think it was gross what Bob was doing to you. Pause. It was gross what Bob was doing to you. That does not mean I meant he was sexually molesting him. That does not mean I thought it was some kind of perverted relationship. What I mean is it was gross what he was doing to you. And I talk about it here, and I talk about it a little bit on the other side of that question, was this person that I'm interviewing is a 19-year-old kid. Okay. He might not like or respect me calling him a kid, and I understand it. He's a grown adult, yada, yada, yada. Look, he's a kid. He's a 19-year-old kid. Okay. He's closer in age and mentality to an 8-year-old than he is to me. He is a child, in my opinion. He was, and he walks around, and for all the voice that he has and what a good speaker he has, now seeing all of this, I see that he is less mature than what I thought. He's so hungry for people to want him to be around and want to respect him That is an immaturity, that he's needing to lie about things and to make things up to be in good graces. And he just says a bunch of things that are not true. He stands and he tries to wax politically with people that have been in politics for years and years and years. And it does not work. And that is immaturity. He is a smooth talker, and he does have a level of maturity that intermixed with the way that he communicates gets his ass in trouble. Okay. And so I wanted to say that I thought what Bob was doing to him in manipulating him and attempting to get him to take the heat for Bob, that was gross. It is gross. And yet they give him the time of the day. I talk about that here in a minute. And just to make sure, John, we will pull you up here in a bit. Let me get through some of this and we will get you pulled up. But I just want to say for the record, I still think it's gross what Bob did to him, meaning politically speaking, using him as the go-between. All right, let's continue on. I think I would probably be punched in the face if I didn't end with this last question. And please, please, please understand, I mean nothing by this, but I feel like I have to ask just to clear the air, because I know that there's been a lot of people asking. Bob never came on to you like sexually or anything, right? Pause before we get his answer. I didn't ask that question in a positive. I didn't say, hey, I know that Bob did X, Y, and Z. Talk about that. I said, Bob never did this, right? I set him up to say, no, Bob did not do this. All right, listen to me. If you're a victim of a crime, say it's a theft, say it's an attempted murder, say it's a molestation or a rape, and the prosecutor's office is dealing with it and it's going to court, or you're suing someone, oftentimes you can't go into detail talking about that. Okay? So I understand asking him, hey, did this happen? If he was being instructed by an attorney or by the law to not respond, it makes sense he would say, I can't talk. I don't want to talk about this. It makes sense people would feel that way. But no one would tell him that if the answer was no. So if the answer is no, that never happened, Bob never did X, Y, and Z, Bob never came on to me sexually, Bob never molested me, Bob never raped me, Bob never did any of this, Louis should have said no. Louis, if you're watching this, for the love of God, my dude, you should have said no. I set you up to say no. All right. What did Louis say?
I'm not going to answer that on air.
Okay.
I will just say there's some things in the legal system. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. What? If the answer was no, say no. Real quick, so we have a full understanding. Bob McCoy and Louis, are you listening? You see that fat man on the screen? There's only one person on the screen. You see him? He is not alluding to a damn thing. He's asking a question. By the way, if a mayor in a small town is running around that town with a 20-year-old girl on his hip and they're being seen everywhere and they're hanging out together, or a 19-year-old girl, fresh out of high school, there's going to be a lot of rumors. All right? Just that's the way it is. It's 2023. You don't get saved now from the rumors because you're out running around with a 19-year-old boy, a 19-year-old child, a 19-year-old, young adult, a 19-year-old man. Bob is 60-some years old. The fact that he was running around town and hanging out and being buddy-buddy with Louis, there were a lot of people questioning this. Lots and lots and lots of questions. Lots and lots and lots of rumors. Lots and lots and lots of rumors, not to mention all of the weirdness that he was saying. This last bit was regarding rumors that were flying around, not any allegations on Kristopher's part, not to mention the weirdness that Louis had been saying up to this point. All right, talking about solicitation and whatnot. Google what solicitation means. Legally speaking, it really refers to prostitution, solicitation. Let's continue to let Louis talk here in his own words.
And off air, I would feel comfortable having that conversation with you.
Okay.
But I just think that there's some things that I'm working with the Randolph County prosecutor about, and I just think I would rather him answer those questions in terms of like sexual assault, kind of, if that's what you're asking. No.
Now, he does say right there, he clears it up. In terms of sexual assault, no. Okay. So it means he didn't sexually assault him. Okay. The question there then becomes, did he attempt to? I didn't say that, but let's listen to what Louis says.
But I think there's some other things involving solicitation that are in the works. So
listen to what he says there. In terms of sexual assault, no, none of that. But there are other things like solicitation. Listen to me. Period, point blank. My time in law enforcement, when I hear that, not knowing what Louis was talking about, I'll just be honest. I assumed he was talking about Bob had been asking him. Bob had been pressuring him. Bob had been talking to him, texting him, asking him. Okay, something similar to that. Now, I don't know what the situation is, and I want to be really clear here. Mr. McCoy, are you listening? I'm probably going to make this a short. Louis Galligan, are you listening? I'm probably going to make this a short. If someone asks you an answer or asks you a question and the answer is emphatically no, answer no. If you say, I don't feel comfortable answering that on air, but, you know, as far as actual sexual assault, no, that didn't happen, but there's some other things like solicitation. I'm letting the prosecutor's office work through all of that. That is a freaking weird answer. That's a weird way to say no. Bob McCoy, I did not say that. Louis, I did not say that. I'll be honest. This question deserved to be asked. It still deserves to be asked. It was a gift to Bob or a gift to Louis. Listen to me here. These rumors were floating around Winchester. Remove Josh from the situation. Remove me from the situation. There were people in town asking this. I come to Louis and I broadcast this and I say, was Bob doing this? And if Louis said no, that would have been a gift to McCoy. I would have offered, that would have been a gift. It would have cleared that up. Louis answered in the way that he answered, and I'm sure that made all kinds of weird problems for Bob. I'm sure it made all kinds of problems for Louis. Bob lets on like he's going to sue Louis. Excellent. Sue him. Call me. I'll tell him exactly what said. I'll tell you who didn't allude to anything. I certainly didn't allude to anything. I didn't imply anything. So I just think that's very strange. This could have been a gift to either one of them, both sides, but it was very strange in how Louis did that. And what was Louis attempting to do? Was he attempting to get on our good side, or did he think that, people would not really listen to this? I mean, I'm just trying to understand what his motivation in this moment was, Let's listen to just a bit more here. Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
That's fair enough. I appreciate you. Hold on here. I appreciate you saying that. When I'm going to pull you down here 1 second, but don't. The interview's over. We're done. There's no more conversation that came from that. That was the end of it. That was the end. So, going back to Josh's video.
If you watch that video, that's not what I said. If you watch that video, Bob, I said that I was given information and went to the prosecutor's office. What really pissed me off is when I get a call from the prosecutor's office saying Bob is using you as a witness to go after these guys. Bob, that's what pissed me off. Right. So
Not true.
So when the prosecutor tells me that, I'm like, Bob McCoy?
That's not true.
We went through a lot.
So he said, if you listen to that video, that's not what I said. I didn't say that. Well, I don't know what he said, but you heard what he said. I'll tell you what he said and what he didn't say. He did not say no. Period. Louis Galligan, Bob McCoy. That's not Kristopher Bilbrey alluding to anything. And I'm going to tell you right now something, Bob McCoy, you son of a bitch. I want you to listen to me real carefully. I don't like you, but I would never, never accuse you of a criminal act. I would never in a million years. That is utterly disgusting. And this is a message to everybody. I'm telling you, everyone do as you see fit, but everybody needs to stay away from Louis Galligan. He is a dangerous individual. Dangerous in the fact that he is willing to say whatever he wants to say. I hate thinking I've had that kid in my car. I'm glad I had Josh there as a witness. He's willing to say anything at any time, whatever position he's got to be in. He is a dangerous individual. Bob, if you want some good, friendly advice, take it or leave it. Cut him off. Be done with him. The rest of everyone else needs to be done with him. His inability to understand what his words mean and the way that he's just so smoothly talks and says things, I'm not even sure if he's aware of what he's talking about. Whatever fits his narrative at the moment. That's absolutely true. All right, here we go.
I know that's not true.
So when he told me that, the first thing I went was.
So now we have two idiots arguing over stupidity.
I was in London when I got that phone call, and I flew back here. Like he said, well, Josh goes to court next week. I would definitely be interested in you going to listen to what was being alleged. He said, I don't know exactly what's being alleged. Nothing's come to my office. However, you're listed as a victim in 3 different segments.
By who?
I guess your attorney.
Oh, no, that bitch boy.
Right.
Yeah, that's so he took that as a witness?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was just on tape.
So I went, that's bullshit. Like, I have a lot of respect for Bob. If you would have called me and said, hey, dude, I need you to fucking help me out on this protection order. No. I would have stood in your corner like I did.
Wait a minute. All right, I've got a lot of respect for Bob. I thought Louis told us, and Louis has been telling Josh and me for the last 3 months, he's lost all respect for Bob. So now he's saying he's got a lot of respect for Bob? Wait a minute. He's saying that if Bob would have called him, he would have stood in his corner. So do you mean to tell me this is all because Bob McCoy didn't call him on the phone? He did all of this because Bob didn't call him on the phone? Nobody get it twisted. This young man here is not mature. He is very immature for his age.
Did many times. But when he calls me, I'm like, this don't add up. So when I was told that, you and John were trying to get me to go on the bar and charges were going to be pressed, whatever, I went and sent it to him. I said, I just want you to have this on record. So Bilbrey made the comment, did Bob touch you?
No, Bilbrey did not make the comment, did Bob touch you? Louis Galligan, do you want to take those words back? Louis Galligan, are you going to take those words back? In my opinion, sir, you're slandering me. So I'm going to ask you again, sir, do you want to take those words back? Or are you going to just remain being a lying asshole? Your word is all you have, son.
That's what his comment was. Did Bob touch you?
No, that is not what my comment was. Do you suffer from the same memory issue that Bob suffers from? Are you a pathological liar? What's the situation?
And I said, no, there's nothing like that. However...
No, you did not say, no, there's nothing like that. No, there's nothing like that. No, you did not say that. You want to go back and hear it again? You said, I don't know that I can answer on air. He didn't. There's no sexual assault, but there's some things going on with solicitation that the prosecutor's office is trying to handle. That's what you said, sir.
My allegation was, I do think that from what I was told is very concerning, and I wanted to send that there. Well, from then, I'm getting calls from people claiming they're in biker gangs, and they're after me and making the connection that I released information on you. So any normal person is going to say, you got them to come for me. So
biker gangs, Bob McCoy, information calls. I'd like to see all of that. The problem is I just can't believe Louis now.
I said, okay, I'm just going to stay out of the way. So then there was a comment made that I said something to you about calling Joan a scissor sister. Yep. And they said that I said that to you, and they came to me and asked me. So I just showed them. I said, well, I said it, and it was an ongoing joke, and so did I. And
what? So okay. So Louis called Joan a scissor sister, and Bob says, yep. And he's like, it's an ongoing joke. And Bob's like, so did I. I called her a scissor sister too. What? So, okay, that is true. Interesting. And that's a citizen in his community. That is a citizen of his community that he's referring to in a slang way.
And that was that. This was never if that phone call from the prosecutor.
No, I don't believe Louis. I believe Louis is flying by the seat of his pants. I believe that Louis is a con man. Louis has a con man's intelligence, not a true intelligence. Louis is a con man, and he's there. He's a grifter, and he's there just to grift. And as soon as someone sees through his grift, he's gone. Because I'm going to tell you something else here in a bit too. I'm going to be very clear. The real hardcore heavy Connie Richwine that was on here attacking us for days and days and attacking me, I believe that was Louis Galligan. And I've got proof and can show you all that as well. Notice that Connie Richwine went away. Well, that was because Louis was confronted. And then all of a sudden, Connie went away. And there's lots of proof I can show you. There's lots of issues that's going on with Louis Galligan.
In this circumstance, because the way I even talked to you after court. Yeah, you did. We had a conversation about court, and I said I didn't really like the judge, and I didn't know how things were going to go. And then Dalley's telling me I would just watch your allies. But here's the thing.
I don't get the whole Dalley. That's bugging me.
Dalley is friends with him. Okay. And I'm cordial with Dalley.
Dalley is friends with who? With Josh? I wouldn't say they're friends. I would say that he has been respectful. I would consider, I'm friends with Dalley. I've been inside his house many, many times. Dalley and I would consider Dalley and I friends. I would consider Josh and Dalley friendly acquaintances. I wouldn't consider them friends. Could they become friends? Sure. Are they currently friends? I don't know that they're friends. And Josh isn't getting anything, anything crazy out of a friendship. He's not getting any perks or whatever. Not like he should, but I'm just saying I don't think that there's a friendship there in the way that Bob and Louis are friends, apparently.
Dalley speaks to me. It's really funny that until I got friends with him, my case that Joe filed was pending until I start hanging out with him, and it gets dismissed. Randomly. Dalley calls me and says he's got a dismissal for me.
That's got nothing to do with each other.
So I go and get the dismissal. That's where we're at. I know the protection order, whatever. I haven't said anything about you. I still haven't talked about you.
I just got a clip of it and it insinuated something like I sexually harassed you. That's what it insinuated.
No.
And you can go back and look at it. Maybe it's just, again, when you only get a piece of it.
If you watch the last 10 minutes, I knew the question was coming.
But you say, I'd rather not say on tape.
Yeah, he asked me about the allegation that I was making, what was in the prosecutor.
Right.
No,
and I said I would rather not.
I did not ask about the allegation. I said, Bob hasn't ever came on to you sexually, has he? That's what I said.
Disclose that because it was just an allegation.
And I think he alluded to, was it of the sexual nature, or did you touch me or something?
And I said no. And I did answer the question. I said no.
Whatever's going on here is bizarre.
Bob, that's ridiculous.
I know it's ridiculous, but they'll do anything to put me out of office, whatever. But
They'll do anything to put me out of office. I won't do anything to put him out of office. I will work hard to make sure that I'll make sure that the people know what he's doing. I'll make sure that the people know what an arrogant a-hole he is. I will make sure that the people know that he's barely capable of being being awake during the day, let alone being mayor. But I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say that you sexually harassed somebody. I'm not going to say that you sexually battered someone. I'm not going to say that you raped somebody. Those are serious allegations. I'm not going to do that, Bob. And I'm telling you right now, Bob, I listen, I don't respect you, but I respect you enough to tell you I would not do that, sir. And you're staring into the eyes of somebody right now that is stone cold scary because he's willing to do that. So you need to be very careful.
sorry, I'm not going nowhere.
I know that. I know you're not going to get me, Bob. That's why I never tried to campaign against you. All I did was I protected myself. And, I even told Sheen, if Bob just comes and talks to me, we'll square this shit out. We're men.
Exactly. But you wouldn't even look at my wife in court the other day when we were sitting in their courtroom. She goes, she's terribly upset about it because, again, what we saw on video was, maybe you didn't allude to it, he did.
Well, I know that's what they alluded to because even Josh told me that Bilbrey went too far. Bilbrey goes too far.
Ding, 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 ding. Okay, we need to talk about this. Even Josh, they were alluding to the sex stuff. Josh told me Bilbrey went too far. Okay, listen. To my knowledge, I've never caught Josh in a lie. I don't know that Josh has ever lied to me. I don't believe he is. whatever happened with Josh and I, whatever the falling out, whatever this or that, Josh we're friendly, and Josh has been honest with me. I've been honest with Josh. He's not lied to me that I know of. And I'm not meaning that I'm not meaning that I believe he has. I'm just saying so far he's been honest. I do not believe that Josh told him Bilbrey went too far. I didn't go too far. I mean, are you kidding me? Josh Kimbrell saying that Bilbrey went too far? I don't think so. I think if anything, Josh would say, I don't think Bilbrey went far enough. Okay. Louis is just speaking out of turn here, and it's insane. But all Louis is doing is trying to set up a common enemy.
Because even Josh told me that Bilbrey went too far. Bilbrey
goes too far a lot.
Right.
Bilbrey goes too far a lot. Bob, you don't know anything about me, you angry little dwarf. You don't know anything about me, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. I go too far. Bilbrey goes too far because he exposes the truth. Bilbrey goes too far because he won't take any shit off of people. Bilbrey goes too far because he knows what he's talking about. Bilbrey goes too far because he brings out our information and he puts a spotlight on it and he magnifies that. And if we're doing corruption, he burns our ass with that magnifying glass. Bilbrey and the people around him, his team, they do what citizens should be doing, and they spread the message. Bilbrey does not go too far. Bilbrey didn't do this. The man you're standing there having a cordial conversation with did this, okay? All right, let's listen to this next line of nonsense.
Bilbrey went to an extreme that I probably would not have went to. Right.
Well, what do you mean, Louis? You don't do anything. Where would you have not have went? I mean, you're a citizen standing along the wall here. What do you mean? I went to an extreme you wouldn't have went to.
But that's just the difference. I will run my mouth to a certain extent, but I know that you can't make open allegations like that. But that's just Bill.
You're the one that made the open allegation. I didn't make an open allegation. I asked you a question, and you don't know what you can do. You have no clue. You know very little about politics. You know very little about what's going on in government, local, state, or national otherwise. You very, very seldomly do you get information fully correct. If you want to learn, that's fine, but you're in a position where you should be learning. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should listen twice as much as you talk. You talk way too damn much. What you need to be doing is listening and learning, observing, and then acting later once you know what's going on. You're out here too busy trying to act and trying to, again, like I said, wax politically speaking, with others in the room and trying to make people feel like you fit in when you are completely in over your head, bro. And you might be able to sit there and pull this crap with people you've been around, but you are not going to do it with me.
Bilbrey does that shit, and that's him. That's his style. However, that comment was not made by me, and I know that.
That comment was made by you, bro. You didn't say no. Simply put, you should have said no, period.
When he said that, I said to him, probably not the best thing to do, because you're telling people in the city of Winchester.
Probably not the best thing to do. Louis didn't say probably not the best thing to do. Did you hear him say that? He didn't say that. Matter of fact, okay. After that, Louis went on and talked to myself, Kate, and Josh Kimbrell for another 2 hours after the video, saying all sorts of crazy stuff about all sorts of different things. We should have recorded that. He would literally have shit the bed. Okay. Okay, Philip Holbrook, you're talking about the missing 12 minutes. So, Louis, well, when we get there, I'll tell you. When we get closer to it, I'll tell you about what we've got going on. Let's get there. Here we go.
That the mayor sexually assaulted people. I had thousands of phone calls asking me.
Show me that. Show me proof of you having thousands of phone calls. But you know what? That you might have because people saw you as a victim. Because you alluded to you being a victim. You alluded to yourself being a victim. I imagine people might have called you. It's crazy what you're standing there doing. Bilbrey didn't do that to you. You did that to yourself, sir.
Did Bob touch you? Did Bob touch you?
So you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
That's what was alluded.
Well, and I only saw a piece of it, that you were part of it, and that's the way my wife ran it. I mean, she's still pissed.
Right.
So,
and
I mean, she's like, I can't believe this.
Right. And I figured, but that's why I'm like, well, she's going to reach out. Am I going to talk to me? Like, what?
No, I don't think she will.
No, I was talking about.
Did you already sent one?
No, I didn't. I'm just going to be playing with it. And if you get a message to hang up or whatever, just ignore it.
Gotcha.
Because there may be multiples, because I want to make sure we get it right.
Oh, gotcha.
Because
Okay.
the whole phone system's been.
Yeah, I
Here
know
it
we were
goes.
there for a while, like Berkenized lines that got mixed or something
Well,
with
and,
Comcast and.
The courts. And
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. No problem.
quickly, if you are going to. Well, I wasn't going to talk to you. I'm glad I did.
Right.
Okay. And I wasn't sad.
I wasn't either. That's why I was just. How are you?
Okay. So then we have a missing 12 minutes.
And you could tell your wife.
When I talked to Louis after this video came out yesterday, Louis said that the 12 minutes are missing because that woman walked in and was wanting to get something inspected, yada yada yada, was asking about various things, and that they needed to redact her. Well, they're in a public building, in a public space, and that was a woman. That was, yeah, you're right. You're right, John Reed. You're absolutely right. That's exactly what I thought that was. But there was no need to redact that woman. There's no call to redact that woman. That's complete bullshit. The woman is an adult. She's in there. You only redact with children. So they need to give Josh the full 12 minutes that was missing. Maybe if that woman was in there for the full 12 minutes because she literally just left, they probably didn't talk about anything else. So it's probably a wasted 12 minutes, but they need to give it just the same. And we need to be able to make that determination, because if for some reason Bob and Louis did slide something out there in that meantime, I want to know what it is, because this video in and of itself pissed me off. If there's anything else, who knows?
Like Bob. It wasn't to.
I think it could have all been resolved if you would have just come to us.
Right.
Instead of ignoring us.
What really set me off is what happened down here at Go Forts, when Josh came with the camera, Bilbrey, right after.
No. I was not there. See, he doesn't get any of his information right. Bilbrey was not there, young sir. I was back at my house doing a live. I had nothing to do with your nonsense. You need to quit just saying shit, because it makes you a pathological liar.
Burke came, and 3 other officers came, and it was, they were pretty much, it was like we were going back and forth with Joan and them, and Josh and I were going back and forth. They filed a police report, whatever. Then I left, and that's when all the court happened. It was like 4 days after that. I left the next day. Then Valley's secretary, I don't know the guy, the game.
I know you're talking.
Justin, is that?
Yes, Justin.
Justin had left Josh a message to tell me that my name was in that protection order. So
I guess I don't know why they're doing that to begin with, because he should not be even involved. But yeah, your name was because it was one of the incidents.
But that's not how it was described. It was described as if you guys weren't going to be able to get it on your own, so you put me in there because, well, he's not just harassing us, he's harassing citizens. And I was already having enough problems with him. So I was like, this is going to make it 10 times worse. And I'm like, no, Bob, did you tell me this? So that kind of pissed me off. So then at that point, you know, Josh said, well, I'm going to get someone subpoena you and Bob's text messages. You'll have to get, you know.
Yep.
I said, Josh, I'm not going to court.
Your possible guest for tonight is
Yep.
needing to get to bed here soon. So if you're going to do that, then you need to do it now.
Okay, we've not got there. I mean, if he wants to come on, it will be out of context.
Okay.
You want to ask him if he wants to come on now, or does he want to wait till we play it and come on tomorrow?
Okay, I will
Just
ask.
so it's in context.
I'm
Just let me
sorry
know.
to interrupt.
No,
but
you're
not
fine.
paying
You're
attention
fine.
to PMs or anything. So
You're fine. Sorry, yeah, I've just been on the other side. Find out whichever's best for him, and I'll play through this. Just let me know when he comes back on.
So I'll just give them to you, which was ignorant. I mean,
And you do know the thing that everybody's claiming is Spillman is called Fact Finder, and it's a paid service that you pay for information on people.
oh, I defended you.
But they are thinking that's Spillman.
That ain't so.
I know it ain't Spillman, but they're thinking it's
But
Spillman.
she did get caught looking him up.
I have no idea about that. And I have no access, so I'm out of it.
Oh, I told him that.
Yeah.
But I guess in February, he went over to the sheriff's office, filed a report. They pulled the report. Guess on February 9th of this year, I was trying to go back through.
Where is my son for that?
And at 8 o'clock in the morning, February 9th, she pulled his Spillman. And I guess he got that. So
I have no idea.
well, that's
Yeah.
I said,
And then again, I know Bilbrey's requested records about people. I mean, if it's and I don't understand it because I wasn't even schooled on it. If somebody comes up and says, I want a police report on Louis Galligan, if there's no ongoing investigation, I think it's free. I mean, I think anybody can get it on anybody they want. I may be wrong.
this ain't even something you did. She had her powers way before. And
Oh.
I
Yeah, she hired in November of the year before I was elected.
Right. It should have just been, they should have just done it to begin with because they know what to redact. They know what can be given and what can't. They know what investigation's pending and what's closed.
Which now is what they do.
Right. It shouldn't, but again, that has nothing to do with you. That's why I told them, this ain't Bob. That's not Bob's account.
And she was hired with John training her, and she had no training.
Right. So I know where she came from, and I back you up on that. And I do agree with you, and she told me the same thing. This could have probably been resolved if I had just picked up the phone to you instead of getting angry. And that's just life. I knew he was going to subpoena my text anyway. I knew it was coming. I knew the court would have had to.
Who was going to subpoena him?
Him, his lawyer, was going to subpoena our phone conversations.
I don't even know where that's. I don't think it was even valid. I mean, I don't think it had anything to do with anything.
I think what they were trying to prove is that this was like we planned this against them. So it was
Quit
more
saying them. There's not a them. I'm not in. I don't have a court case against me. Bob is not after me. Louis is not after me. And if he is, he needs to stay the hell where he's at and don't be coming after me because you're not going to like what you get. But I'm telling you, no, nobody's after me. He's talking about the protective order stuff, and that was a stupid deal against Josh. It shouldn't have happened. It is. Josh is filing the appeals for that, and they're going to fight that out. And I back Josh on that. What's happening is ridiculous. But Louis is an idiot. Quit saying them. There is no them there. He was talking about a court case against Josh. We backed him on that. I was part of that team, still part of that. I care what happens to Josh. I don't want him to be done wrong. I don't want anyone to be done wrong. But Louis is trying to make it a them versus them, and that's bullshit. There is none of that. What really needs to happen is we all need to be against Louis because he's, Bob needs to see what he's doing here is just filling him full of more bullshit.
want to prove,
Right.
what was actually going on. And I'll be honest, that fucking scared the hell out of me because I'm like, I ain't getting involved in this. So I just, I said, I'll give them to you.
Yeah.
And
it didn't matter name.
no, and like I said, there was nothing. There were conversations that we had, Bob, that probably should not have, and I did not release those.
There were conversations that we had that we probably should not have. What's he talking about? What's he talking about when he says that? There were conversations that we were having that we probably should not have.
I mean, there were many conversations in there like that they took very out of context, like the cocaine. I know
Exactly.
they made the comment that you were doing cocaine, so
they made the comment that you were doing cocaine. Nobody made any comment that Bob was doing cocaine. Quit saying they. You showed a text message where Josh said, where Bob said, "Are you bringing the cocaine?" And then we ask about that.
along with the joke. I've since explained it to them, but
Wait.
like the cocaine. I know
Exactly.
they made the comment that you were doing cocaine, so we went along with the joke. I've since explained it to them, but just as well as anyone, and I know
He since explained it to them. Louis, hey, Josh, are you still here? Did he explain anything to you? Did he explain anything to you about cocaine? He didn't explain anything to me about cocaine. I don't know what he's talking about. There was no explanation to me about what the cocaine meant. Matter of fact, I specifically asked Louis in one of our videos what he meant about cocaine. Listen. Like, I lived in Winchester for 10 years. I'd heard plenty of rumors as well, and I that doesn't seem too far-fetched to me. So I just thought that was very interesting, and look, I thought it was also interesting that he sent you the picture of the beer to begin with, because at the time you weren't of age. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Smart. Caution you, and I want you, obviously, listen to this disclaimer that I offer. So at that point, I thought, holy shit, this is crazy. He literally just admitted to them, Louis is right. So my question to you is, and I want to say this, I'm not trying to put out anything here that isn't factually right, and I want to caution you, and I want you, obviously, what you're willing to do and not do or whatever, and I'm not trying to put you in any weird situation, so only say what you know and you can prove. Bob made a very strange comment to you in one of the text messages, where Bob says to you something about bringing cocaine. Do we know what that is?
Do I know what cocaine is, or do I know what his intentions were?
Do we know what... Smart ass. Do we know what his intention? Like, is that a joke between you guys? Was is cocaine like a code for like water or chocolate or a good time? Like, or like, why would he ask you if you could bring cocaine? Is that not a weird statement to make?
Yeah, and in my response back to that, I totally changed the subject, because I didn't know what he was referring to, because the first picture was a beer, him drinking a Bud Light.
Yeah.
And then I asked him where he was at, and he said he was at Roots. And matter of fact, I did stop in at Roots.
Right.
They were sitting in the dining hall, and I walked in, and, but I was very shocked about the cocaine comment. And still to this day, I don't know what that was in reference to.
Okay.
They hear something, even I laugh sometimes, like they'll hear something and go, oh my God, this is true. Somebody texted him yesterday. I've since explained it to them, but you know just as well as anyone, and I know too.
There's been no explanation.
Hear something, even I laugh sometimes, like they'll hear something and go, oh my God, this is true. Somebody texted him yesterday and said Dale Arnett was sucking dick for drugs. I know that's fucking bullshit. But he looks at it, Dale was doing that, so he goes and asks Dale. If Dale was doing that, I know that's bullshit. But they, people believe things. But that's
I know, and the whole, I don't know what you want to call it, smear campaign or whatever, they're wasting their time with me.
I have told them that. That's a battle.
And Bilbrey has tried this. I have dealt with Bilbrey for many years, and I'm not Sean.
Well, Bill.
All right, he's dealt with me for years. He's been an elected official for years. He sucked for years. He's been a horrible elected official for years. He's not Sean. Sean was the mayor before him. I don't know what that means. I think Sean was smarter than Bob. Sean sucked, but he was still smarter than Bob. You're right, Bob. You are no Sean.
Bilbrey don't like me. So
I'm not Sean.
Bilbrey doesn't like me.
He says Bilbrey doesn't like me. That's not true. I have never had a problem with Louis Galligan. As we sit here today, I don't have a problem with Louis Galligan. I don't think he's trustworthy, and I think he's a lying. I think he's a lying, pathological liar. I think he's setting himself up for a hard life if he's going to be involved in politics or what he's doing, because he's not. There's no truth there whatsoever. But I don't have a problem with him. Listen, you got to care about somebody to be that invested. We are not in the same. I don't think this is not an egotistical thing. He's a 20-year-old kid. We just aren't in the same plane of existence. He means nothing to me.
Likes me. Bilbrey don't like me, and that's fine. Bilbrey doesn't like me because Bilbrey likes people that I don't like.
Okay, but Bilbrey doesn't like me because Bilbrey doesn't like people that I don't like. What does that mean? Who is that? I ask him, who is that? Who are people that you don't like? Who is it that you don't like? You want me to know what he told me? He said, Audie Barber. I said, Audie Barber? You don't like Audie Barber? You don't know Audie Barber. How do you know Audie Barber? He just pulled that name out of his ass. He pulled that name out of his ass. You want to know why? Because he had to cover what he says next. This is the next lie he says.
And Bilbrey's a Democrat, and I'm not.
Bilbrey's a Democrat, and I'm not. Bilbrey isn't a Democrat. Bilbrey is not a Democrat. He isn't a Democrat. He won't be a Democrat. Bilbrey is a right-leaning, constitutional conservative libertarian. Bilbrey is a constitutionally minded, freedom and liberty-minded person. I have friends that are Democrats. I've supported some Democrats. I've supported Republicans. I've bashed Democrats. I've bashed Republicans. Louis is an idiot that doesn't understand politics. Period. That's just all. That's all there is. It's just he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's literally talking out of his ass. You can see it. His ass is right there on the screen. It's moving. It's right below his nose, and words are coming out of it, and he's talking straight out of it.
The difference is, sometimes I'll be honest, he's got a good point. There are things he does that I'm like, that's good, Josh. Like this food bank. That's a good thing. Like I agree. I'm on board with that. And then there are some things that I'll tell him to his face that, Josh, I just probably wouldn't say that. Like tell the sheriff I'm going to shoot him if he comes to my house. Those are things like I would not go there, but that's me.
Exactly.
That's the difference. I do wish things went differently, and I will apologize for not calling you.
Thank you.
And I will apologize to your wife, because I'm sure as your wife, that's upsetting.
Oh, it was.
And-
I mean, and again, I mean, whether it was taken out of context or whatever, I mean, that's what was alluded to, not by you, but Bilbrey, and you know, you really didn't correct him. And
There was nothing to correct, Bob. Listen to me, my dude. I mean, you got to get this figured out. You keep going on about how I've never watched this. I've never watched them. I never watched this. You ought to watch the show, dude. If you're making accusations, like in my opinion, you guys are slandering me. So maybe I'm not an elected official. I don't need to sue. I don't need to wait 2 years to sue you. Maybe I ought to just sue your stupid ass.
And like I said, I think it could have been resolved if after that happened, said, hey, I kind of screwed
Well,
up.
I did make him remove the video. A video was removed.
Listen,
Yeah, video was removed. I told him that.
This is my favorite. This is my favorite comment on the entire video. Listen to this now, people.
And, you know, you really didn't correct him. And like I said, I think it could have been resolved if after that happened, said, hey, I kind of screwed
Well,
up.
I did make him remove the video. A video was removed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the video was removed. I told him that he even made a short of it, which is like he just clipped it down to like 20 seconds and posted that. And even Josh got on and said, that's ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, there's no proof, evidence, nothing. He totally went off the wacko. And Bilbrey's been doing that for months, though. I mean, I remember there's times I was in here talking to you, and he's calling you, asking you if I'm under your.
All right, listen to me. I'm because I don't care about Louis in any way, and I'm trying, like, this is really seriously, like, it's pissing me off, and watching this is pissing me off, and I'm trying to keep my calm and not yell and cuss and say a bunch of stuff. Like, yeah, right, for calling me a Democrat. Absolutely. This is the thing that kills me. Bilbrey's going off on the wacko. He's going on. I made him remove the video. I want you guys to look at something here real quick. I want you to look at something. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bilbrey Live Part 2. This is called A Conversation with Louis Galligan. Louis Galligan doesn't have the balls to pick up the phone and call and tell me, have a good day, let alone call and ask me or ask me to do him a favor, not to mention have the ability to make me do a damn thing. That is ludicrously nuts. I made him remove that video. No, he didn't do anything. The date of this video, folks, I'm going to show you something here. A lot of people probably don't know about this, probably didn't think about this, okay? The date of the video where you're standing watching this, you can just barely see it here. It says 8/9/23. That date might not mean a lot to regular people, okay? But to us, to Josh, to me, to Kate, to Brandon, we know that 8/9/8/2023 is a date that means something to us. It's the date that the breakup occurred, okay? Having nothing to do with this, short time later, our partnership dissolved because of unrelated shit having nothing to do with this on August 9th, okay? We downloaded our videos. We brought them over to our side. Josh had his videos. He deleted our videos from his account and we have been going through the process of adding the videos back to our account. And I've been telling you all we're going to be uploading them and loading them. Now, I will tell you, I've been telling you guys that through the daytime, I'm going to be releasing videos. And there was videos released this morning. This video was released this morning. And the one video, the conversation with Louis, and people were on there saying, well, I don't understand what's going on. Is this live? Bilbrey. I think Danny was on there. I think Diane Stevenson was on there. And I was like, no, listen. I mean, I didn't get a chance because it was happened afterwards. During the daytime is when I'm going to be releasing those videos until we get them all up. And then we'll be done with that. So then it'll be all new videos all the time. But we need to be able to get those videos.
You uploaded this one this morning specifically to give the middle finger to Louis.
To Louis, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's.
I was wondering.
Yeah, that's absolutely stupid. There's no way in hell that Louis would ever okay, I get what you're saying there, Josh. That's cool. I understand. There's no way in the world that I would ever delete a video. If I delete a video, it's because it's something that Brandon, Kate, and I have decided that it should be deleted for some various reason. If something went too far. Now, I don't believe that Louis did the right thing in making it seem like Bob did this, but it has to stay now because of what's going on. Because of all of this, that video stays. I will link it with this, and it'll be linked with that. The two will be, forever linked. But Bob and Louis has to live with that. Louis, you're full of shit, dude. You've never asked me to delete something. You've never talked to me about. We've not talked about that interview since it happened. You and I've talked several times, and you telling Bob that I don't like you or whatever, you didn't know there was any kind of problem between us, period, until Josh asked you about being Connie Richwine, and you know that you're a lying son of a bitch. Bullshit. Shame on you. To just sit there and just go off at the mouth like that, man. Josh never told me I went too far. Oh, Bilbrey went too far. He's been doing it for months. What the hell are you talking about? Josh, Kate, and I talked about the short that was made, and all the short was that last question, and all we said was, ho, this looks bad for Bob. This looks crazy. This was explosive, and this is like it. This might be too much. Not meaning for us, meaning for Bob. Josh and I never had a conversation where he told me I was off the rails or whatever. Louis is full of it, man. Dude, I want to know from Louis. I'd like to interview Louis again. Louis, were you willing to come on here and tell me at what point were you staring into his eyes, or staring into the yellow wall, or staring into the zipper of his pants buckle, pants that you decided to say just this weird crap? Like, where did that come from, son? Here we go.
Desk and things like that. That's kind of weird to even be thinking about this kind of thing.
He said the same thing. I mean,
oh, he did?
Not about you, but about other people who enter my desk.
Right. And that's...
I don't get this relationship. Don't care.
Me and him?
Yes. But
me and him are very close right now about this court shit and the Arnett throwing him in jail. That was BS.
Between you guys and him.
Listen to this. Now he's talking about Josh and Louis are really close because of this court case. This Arnett throwing him in jail shit. That was BS. Listen to what Louis says here.
I probably so, but I don't know the whole thing.
It was, Arnett definitely has the power.
He does.
He just did not do it the right way.
Right.
And as a
Arnett has the power. He just didn't do it the right way. And as a witness, now listen.
Witness to that, I was like, I hate this man, but I can't believe you guys are about to do this. And I even looked at
Louis says, I hate this man, but I can't believe you guys are about to do this. Now, he's not talking to the judge. He's not saying, I hate this man, and because I hate you, I can't believe you're getting ready to do this. He's talking about Josh Kimbrell. Listen to this one more time. He's saying, I hate Josh, but I can't believe you're about to do this to him. Listen.
He does.
he just did not do it the right way.
Right.
And as a witness to that, I was like, I hate this man, but I can't believe you guys are about to do this. And I even looked at it and I told Art, I said, Art, as family, you were just as liable because you were taking the judge's order. And so we teamed up about that. And like I said, he has a good case about the McAfee thing, but he was blaming, you guys. And I said, that ain't Bob. That's your buddy Joe Sheets, man. Like I opened his eyes. I said, that's not. I said, dude, there are.
Listen
right
to
now,
Lewis,
I
this
give you
big
one good
man
reason why
opening
John ain't
people's
this cheap
eyes
anymore.
and explaining stuff.
And dude, it was like he hasn't talked to John since. John won't
Now,
talk to
here's
him.
the John Reed stuff. Here he's talking about John Reed. And real quick, Kate, did he go on to bed? All right, we'll get with him tomorrow. And I hated that, but I really wanted it to be kind of in order just so it made sense with everything. And we will get with John.
I
for
told
the record, I want to say
I
what
give
this
you one
is.
good reason why John ain't this cheap anymore. And dude, it was like he hasn't talked to John since. John won't talk to him. I told you a long time ago, as soon as John's removed, Whitney's going to leave him. What happened? She left me. So
Louis says as soon as John gets demoted, Whitney will leave him. What happened? I mean, they're talking about people's private lives at this point. And that's really weird.
We both discussed that.
yeah, we all knew what was coming, and I knew what was going on. I was 10 steps ahead of it, but
Louis is a 20-year-old child, and he's 10 steps he's 10 steps ahead of all these adults.
that's what I was trying to explain to him. You guys hear things about Bob that are not sometimes true. I said, I can tell you from conversations that I've had, I can't speak for all any of them council members because I don't rarely talk to them. But I spoke with you pretty much daily, and I told him that if you knew the truth, your eyes would be lit up. And when I just flat out told him, John stopped talking to him. John quit the gun store. John works at a Gilman now. John's sleeping with 20-year-old jailers over at the jail. I mean, his life is going just like this.
And people want me to talk crap about him. I'm sorry. It didn't work out. And I explained this to Josh, and we actually had a normal conversation a while back.
I was glad that he posted the video. He posted it.
Oh, and see, I don't watch it. See, that's where I don't really get the whole effect because I don't care. I can't say I don't care, but
people were like, oh my God, did Bob change overnight? And I said to Josh, if that's how you would have addressed Bob from the beginning, you would not have been in the scenario that you're in.
No.
Josh addressed Bob politely from the beginning. I've been dealing with Bob for 6, 8, 10 years now, and I've always addressed him respectfully until the last couple of months. Bob is full of shit. It's not in how you're addressing him. It is what you're doing. If you're questioning him, you're an enemy.
And I said to him, there are things that you and Bob probably agree on, but Bob's not going to listen to you when you're slamming on his door, cursing at him. And like I said, we've had those conversations, but like I told him this morning, I think it's too late now.
It's 3 years too late because he's got a protective order on him for 3 years.
Yeah. And all three were served.
Yeah.
I mean,
he is like a cousin of the sheriff.
But I don't think it'll change, but
no, I don't either.
That was just
no, and if it does, and again,
yes,
I'm
Yoko.
not going to gloat about it, and I'm not going to rub it in his face. And if it does change, I hope the same goes for him. Then we can start all over and things can be like they should be instead of being the whole harassment, because it got to the point where it was ridiculous.
Oh, it was bad.
It was very bad.
It got to the point, and I told him, when you were being accused of calling the state police, I told him, I called the state police. They came here because I know them. They're friends with mine. This has nothing to do with JD. This is me. I called.
Yep.
And a few council members called to back me up and verify, the meeting and things like that. I said, this has nothing to do with.
Why did your phone down right here so it don't go flat? I'm about to head out of the house.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't even know it was out there. And it was things like that I was like, what the hell? I mean, those guys don't have, it's money. And I both know the YouTube's a money source. So sometimes.
Wait. What did he say here? I want to make sure what he says here. Because I thought I caught that earlier.
Source. So sometimes we just, and it was things like that I was like, what the hell? I mean, those guys don't have, it's money. And
those guys don't have big money. I'm trying to understand what he's saying there. Because I know for a fact that JD does not know, or JD, sorry, I saw that Louis doesn't know my financial situation. Let's get something clear. That kid on that screen right there, I'm not sure he has a job. I don't know what he does. He's hard to pin down. He's a really weird and elusive situation. He has made many comments about the fact that he has money because his grandfather has money. That kid there does not have big money. He has family money that he has because of his family. Now, I've never sat down with him and went through my financial documents. I've never looked at my portfolio with him. I've never sat down and showed him what I have in various banks. I'm not hurting. I'm doing all right. My family's doing all right. I put my family up against his with his. That's not the point of anything. That's stupid. I don't know why he would say that. That's ignorant. At the end of the day, I have a job. I'm doing the job. I have worked all of my life since I've been 12 years old, 10, 11 years old, working in my father's company, and worked through various jobs. And in 2019, I took a risk and took a chance and decided I wanted to work for myself. And I have been doing that since. And I'm doing well and I'm doing fine. I'm wanting to grow it bigger, wanting to make it bigger. Could it be bigger, better? Sure. But that is not a bit of his concern. It's not a bit of Bob's concern. But for him to assume that, we don't have big money. I don't know what big money means. First of all, you don't need big money. I'll burn it all. Put it all on the street and burn it. That doesn't matter anything. Money's not what makes the world go round, but it's not what makes my world go round. I'll put it to you that way. I'm doing just fine. But this is, he's getting ready to say something stupid about money. This is a way to make money. This is absolutely a way to make money. This is a job. Why would we not, it's not a bad thing if you make money from this. I want to be able to reach as many people as possible. So if we have people that we can get out and reach more and more and more people, and that makes money for us so that we're able to do it and spend more time doing it, then hell yeah, absolutely.
I both know the YouTube's a money source. So sometimes I just overlook things, when they posted me. I mean, they posted me just as much as they posted you.
Oh, for a while, yeah.
And they still haven't taken the videos down.
Right.
And I've been cordial.
But saying
Now,
they,
he's not going to take those down because they're getting money from that. So him acting like he hates me and acting like he hates you is a money motivator. And I'll tell him that.
Right. Well, and that didn't help him in court either.
No, I think the judge was asking questions and, you know, you make money from this, and
He wasn't answering.
he wouldn't answer, so I take that as a yes. And his lawyer didn't help him. I said, you paid $5,000 for that guy? That guy was ridiculous. He told me he's never lost a case before. That's bullshit. That guy's lost more than one case.
listen to
That's the way it is. You know, like I said,
listen to Louis talk like he is somebody.
I wish I would have came to you and just said, hey, Bob, tell me what's going on. And I mean, that's different. You know, I'm not the guy that's going to come up here and harass you and put a camera in your face. That's not me. I said my piece about what was told to me, and I even made it very clear. None of this is confirmed.
Right.
These are just the allegations that were made.
Right.
And I just wanted somebody over my head to go, what was going on? Because when I hear that, and then I got Joe and John trying to set me up with the court stuff, I'm like, okay, this ain't making sense. Then they're saying, well, Bob and John, boy, we're trying to get you to go in the bar. And then they were going to turn around and call, so then you get another charge. So I'm like, okay, let me hear this out. So I sent it over there, and I said, you know, are they trying to entrap me? That was I said, is this entrapment? And Dally said, no. He said, not on Bob. He said, John was a little suspicious. He said there were some things that John said that were like, he said he deemed them inappropriate. And I said, you know, but and I took responsibility. I said, that comes because I am more mature for my age than anyone knew. People look at me, I don't even get ID.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere. If I buy something, they're like, no ID. So you would look at me and not go, oh, this guy's under 21.
Right.
So, I mean, it doesn't shock me that people invited me into the bar. However, that's not how it was reported. I just made a comment. The texts were given. They interpreted them however they interpreted them.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in there, you know, there were some times we talked about city business. They didn't get those texts. I gave them the stupid ass little fucking bullshit. That they wanted to see,
Mhm.
which was me and you
You're
making fun
freezing
of
up
them.
there.
Their viewers find that funny. That was
what did you?
You're freezing up a bit on my end.
Oh, okay. Sorry, are we back?
Okay, everybody else is
We're
seeing
back.
it too. So you're freezing a little bit there. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So we're all right. We're back here. So okay. So what basically was going on there is he's saying that yeah, everybody hit that like button. I got bills to pay. So Louis is talking about what's going on here. He's talking about the fact that he was talking to Bob about city business, but he didn't hand over those emails. So that's interesting that Bob was talking to him about stuff that he probably shouldn't have been.
the moneymaker for them. Bilbrey don't care that you call him fat. Josh don't care that I called him whatever. Joan don't care that I call her a lesbian. I don't. That's their viewers care because they get $10,000 on their videos for 5 or 6 videos, however they make, they get $10,000. I tell you what, I've seen their fucking shit. They make a lot of money. They make more money than you probably do as fucking mayor. Don't take much to do that. You know,
What they less than I did, well, that's my last job.
You know, harassing Lisa about her seat. I mean, got a good point.
Valid.
I mean, she's running on a ballot.
It's valid. Being polite goes a long way.
Right. And I told them that. I said, you know, Lisa situation is fucked.
And it really, I mean, council has no control. I have no control. I have people calling me and said, she's an elected official. She needs to resign.
But I told them, why don't you just use that as motivation for your campaign instead of yelling at people who can't do anything about it? Speak to the right people.
Right.
I said, going to the voter's office is not going to do you anything because they can't remove her. However, that's not going to help you.
Listen,
Because they
listen.
have enough time to appoint
Lewis
somebody.
never told me any of this. I don't know what Lewis is talking about.
And he's
I've
also
never.
full of crap because the council could vote her off.
The council very well could vote her off. He doesn't know what he's talking about. First and foremost, the council could vote her off if they wanted to. And I don't know about. Hold on, pull up here, Kate. I don't know. I don't know about you. Have you ever needed Lewis to counsel you politically for any reason?
I don't know that I've talked to Lewis personally. I know that he was driving by the gun shop one day when I was up there and hollered out the window, "Hi, Kate." I think he actually called me Katie, and I just turned around and waved and said, "Hi." And then realized after he was gone by who the hell it was, because it was another freaking car. So I don't know that I've ever actually had a conversation with Lewis, but I wouldn't go to him for political advice. I would talk to my husband, because he's a lot of ways more politically savvy than I am on some things.
He's so stupid.
But
So
my
stupid.
husband would be the person I would talk to if I needed political advice.
Sure. Well, yeah, sure. And you know, you and Brandon
But that's
and I
like me
talk
going
and
asking, asking Brody for advice.
Yeah, right.
I have kids that are older than he is.
Right.
And I wouldn't ask my 28-year-old son for political advice. That's for sure.
Right.
He doesn't like me because I am not a nice person.
Yeah, sure. Right. Oh, hold on to your pants.
Oh.
And if you're watching this, we're getting ready to hear some Kate bashing here real soon. All right, I'll pull you up here in a minute.
Okay.
It's gonna be good.
Bye.
Bye. There we go.
Somebody else to run in her seat. Exactly. So that somebody else will just run on that Republican ticket and beat you. Exactly. I would just campaign on the fact that she's not here, and if you beat her, you beat her. Yeah. Still
Who's running against her? Joe?
Joe and Lydia. None of them, I haven't seen them campaign or do anything.
Well, I mean, it's too early to campaign. I'm not concerned about the election, period.
Well, we know you're not going to get beat. They know you're not going to get beat. They're not. If they start telling people their policies, like they're going to abolish the police department and turn it into like Union City director.
And you know, and to insinuate that I've been talking crap about Niles. I haven't said boo about Niles.
Who said that?
Josh and Bilbrey.
No.
I don't know. I've not said he said anything about Niles in this run in quite some time. I don't know what Bob is talking about.
It was a county guy that told me that Niles was doing some bad things when he was working over there at the county, but I've never heard you speak about Niles. The only thing I've ever think I've told you about
It was the county guy that was telling me that Niles was doing some bad things when he was over there at the
My
hell's he
husband was
talking
doing
about?
bad things in the county
Yeah, right.
when he worked as an assistant at the airport.
Yeah, right.
What the hell could my husband have been doing to do anything bad at the airport?
Yeah, right.
So now he's slandering my husband.
Now he's slandering Niles. Yeah, right.
Oh, that's great.
He
My husband has more integrity in his pinky toe than either
Yeah.
of them have in their entire bodies.
Yeah, right. Just absolutely ridiculous. Oh, three were care flown from an accident in farmland. That's horrible. Prayers obviously go out to them. Yeah, he did call Niles a fucking freaky friend. He did say that.
Niles I don't think he's going to beat you, and that's just based on the last election.
Well, yeah, and I mean, you know, I have more of a problem with Kate than I do Niles.
I have more of a problem with mild Niles than I do. I have more of a problem with Kate than I do mild Niles. What's his problem with Kate? That literally, this is his problem. This is how childish Bob McCoy is. The problem that that McCoy has with me is that when Kate ran against him in the general election in 2018, sorry, when when they ran against each other for county council seat in 2018, and I interviewed both Bob and Kate, that I threw my support behind Kate, and I was not in favor of Bob. And then in 2019, Bob actually let me know that that was the reason that he was refusing to speak with me as a candidate for mayor, because he asked me, who did I support in the last year's race? And I said, for what? And he said, for county council. And I said, for your race? And he was like, yeah. And I said, Kate. And he was like, why? And I was like, you know why? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And so he's had a problem with Kate since she ran against him in 2018. And he's had a problem with anyone that supported her, including myself. He is such a tool bag.
Kate, I don't know how to take her sometimes. Sometimes she's really nice, and then sometimes it's
You
like,
see her shaking his
oh
head?
my God, like, are you the female version of Bilbrey?
Are
Like,
you the female version of Bilbrey? What? I mean, if he wasn't standing there, I would ask him if he was somebody else I knew, if I didn't know better. But we'll just leave that alone, and we'll come along here now.
That's
Exactly.
That's how I was like.
And they're all tied to Bastard's politics.
Well, she's the producer or whatever you call it.
But Josh is the co-producer and Bilbrey's involved.
Mhm.
So,
It's like they've really figured something out. It's like they really figured something out, that we were all tied to the show. What the hell's he talking about? Little did they know that we were literally at this very time blowing up. Literally, we were blowing up right now at like 3:54. The whole thing was blowing up as they were sitting in here holding each other's pockets.
But I just wanted to clear it up. I got no hard feelings with him. I'll talk to you when I see you. Like I said, whatever they say doesn't represent me. If I got a problem with you, I will come to you.
well,
Just vice
like I
versa.
said, this probably could have been resolved a lot.
You know, John Boyd, I don't know why he keeps admitting on video that he's drinking and driving, but I never reported him to the police, so I don't know why he's doing that. Just making himself look like an idiot. I mean, same with him. He could have picked up the phone and said, hey, do you got a problem with me? But they assumed because there was a problem there for a while between me and you that I just got a problem with all of them. So then he just went and came clean. I guess Josh asked him about drinking and driving, and he said on video that he does it. Then, well,
He's calling it gone. I mean,
it's a mandatory arrest, but I hope he knows that. So
yeah.
that's, I can't protect him when,
What?
well,
He's calling it gone. I mean,
him. So then he just went and came clean. I guess Josh asked him about drinking and driving, and he said on video that he does it. Then, well,
he's calling it gone. I mean,
it's a mandatory arrest, but I hope he knows that. So
yeah.
that's, I can't protect him when the police pull me over and say, well, you're following him.
No, yeah, there's been times I'll call my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, but, and I know, I park down the road a lot of times and I'll walk because I walk for, you see me walking.
Yeah.
I walk for steps and dollars, and if I have more than my share, I will call my wife, period.
Right.
They're not gonna pop me for that because I know better.
Right.
I know better.
So that's where we're at. So like I said, I don't got no problem. I just was going to give you time. I saw you in court, but I don't think that was the appropriate place to handle that. And, I don't know why Tammy fucking went off the deep end, and because I released that thing, but it was more of to show that this guy's a nasty animal.
I agree with what you're saying, but she took it very personal, and also she took it personal that the video with you and Bilbrey about me. So me and her were really tight.
Right.
So that's one reason.
Okay.
And because she, and she was like, why? And I had no idea. But and I can't believe, I can believe it in Winchester. I can believe anything in Winchester. Anything that comes out of the prosecutor's office. For one thing, me and you should have talked, because The only reason why you were even in that thing was because you were involved in, you walked
Why
past.
is Bob so concerned about this relationship with this 20-year-old kid? It is so weird.
When me and him were having an
But you
altercation.
know, he's friends with them.
Mhm.
So Dally worships Josh.
What
Dally-
is Louis talking about? Worships him? He worships Josh. Louis, dude, please get help. Like, you need to deal with this issue, man.
Very good friends with Josh. So it doesn't surprise me that information got out there.
Right.
I mean, there's some things that I would assume Dally wouldn't give. I mean, he won't give me a basic police report,
Mhm.
but he's given him case files that are this big.
Bullshit.
So I just,
Well, I had a conversation. Me and Dally don't talk.
well, I know that. And Dally,
And we're not gonna talk because sorry, buddy.
but that's why
Sorry,
this
buddy. I mean, you're the peon mayor. What does that mean? Do you think Dally gives a shit whether you talk to him or not? What does that mean? Who cares?
Yeah.
That was now, Dally's not done. Dally didn't pick up the phone and call me.
Oh, I know.
Dally, Justin, you called.
Yeah, exactly.
And same thing with, very selective on like case filing, anything that's filed, it's just shred.
What he
filed a bogus case on me
he's completely
because I was
talking out of
going
his
against
ass.
these guys. But the moment I became cordial, he says, I got a dismissal letter for you. I mean, that's just, you explain that. I mean, that's just.
I know. Randolph County politics.
Right.
Oh, in Randolph County politics. Okay, now
I think the worst thing that they said about me was that I'm sometimes nice.
Right.
That is blatantly not true. I am not a nice person.
Right.
Ever.
Right. That's hilarious. Now, I do want to follow up. When he was talking about the cocaine in my interview, I want you to listen to this.
A beer, him
Yeah.
drinking a Bud Light.
Yeah.
And then I asked him where he was at, and he said he was at Roots. And matter of fact, I did stop in at Roots.
Right.
They were sitting in the dining hall, and I walked in, and but I was very shocked about the cocaine comment, and still to this day, I don't know what that was in reference to.
Okay, so had he ever asked you about bringing him? Had he ever done that before?
Never.
Okay. Do you know? Have you ever witnessed Bob or heard Bob doing any illegal substances before?
No, but
Okay.
if you take a look at the people he associates with,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's too far out of reason.
Right. And I lived in Winchester for 10 years. I'd heard plenty of rumors as well. And that doesn't seem too far-fetched to me. So I just thought that was very interesting. And look, I thought it was also interesting that he sent you the picture of the beer to begin with, because at the time you weren't of age. So it's just interesting to me that he brings up the fact that Louis brings up the fact of who Bob associates with. It's interesting to me that he brings that up. So I wanted to play that at the end there and talk about that. I just think that that's really, really, really interesting. I just want to put that forward. We're getting ready to end this. This has been a long video, and I've been trying with these new videos on this new platform to not go much longer than an hour and 30 minutes or so. And so we're getting ready to wrap this up. But I want to say a couple things here just as we wrap this up. This will be the postscript of this. This is going to be a little bit longer postscript, but I think that this is important to say. Bob is a terrible mayor. It's in my opinion, Bob is a terrible mayor. Bob is not a very nice person. He's not a very good person at all, in my opinion. Definitely a horrible mayor, very questionable person. That being said, he does not deserve to be, he does not deserve to be insinuated about him that he's been involved with a sex crime. That's not a pleasant thing. Now, when Louis said this originally, if you go back through and you watch my video from the point when I ask him about like what goes on, and I am like, what's happening? If you watch that, I'm shocked to hell. I'm like stuttering and stammering, and I just can't believe it. I'm shocked. It was explosive. I could not believe that he said that. I got two things going off in my head at the same time. One, by God, this guy better be telling the truth. And man, I hate that. If this guy's telling the truth, I can't believe that Bob would do this, and this is nuts. Then he immediately follows up with, well, if you're talking about sexual assault, he didn't do that. So to me, listen, I'm going to be honest. Hearing what I heard Louis said, I assumed that he didn't actually ever physically touch him, and Louis was saying he never actually done anything to him. But then he said, but there are things that are in the prosecutor's office, that there are things that are being discussed and being looked at in the prosecutor's office along the lines of solicitation. When he says that, to me, what that meant was Bob was trying to groom him. And that is what Louis led me to believe. Bob, as a questionable human and a shitty mayor, I'm going to do everything I can to bring you down with everything political that I have. But I will not lie about you. And I will not stand by and allow my platform or anything I'm connected to be used to lie about you. No one ever asked me to remove that video. No one ever told me that that video was too far. No one ever told me that I was off on a wacko, whatever that means. I'm not off on no wacko. I am. It's called political folks. They're the wackos, and I'm off on it. That is for damn sure. It's the corruption and the bullshit, and I'm tired of it. I'm sick to death of it. And I'm going to do what I can to destroy their corrupt behavior. That being said, Bob does not deserve to be accused of some kind of sexual crime if he did not commit a sexual crime. Even being innocent until proven guilty, that is a crime that once you ring that bell, it cannot be unrung. And it doesn't matter how many times I go on here. There will be people that watched that show that did not watch this one and that will think that Bob did this or whatever. And I hate that. And I'm going to use my platform to try and clear Bob of this. I do not want to be involved with that. And not because Bob's talking about suing Louis or whatever. Hey, let me tell you, Bob, if you or Louis or whatever want to sue me or come on, I think that would be fantastic. I couldn't beg for something that great. I would love to get a chance to go against you in a court of law and for us to be able to talk in law. That would be absolutely amazing. I've not done anything wrong to you, and I will not do anything wrong to you. You are a political figure, and I am engaging with my political figure the way that I engage with all political figures. So the fact that Bob was slandered by someone that he used to consider a friend, and I hate that. I didn't remove the tape of the video. I wouldn't remove it. If this would have come to my attention and I would have figured it out some other way, I might have considered removing it. But because what has occurred, there will be no chance that I will be removing that. Now it becomes part of the bigger story. It's a situation where we become part of our own stories. That's where we are. Number 2, Louis is young. He's going to do dumb young people dumb shit. He's 20 years old. He's going to do what 20-year-old people do. Everyone has done dumb shit when they were young. But he won't grow up to be the adult that he should be if he is not held accountable. If Louis I'm looking here at the thing. If Louis does not dealt with this, and when I mean dealt with, I mean that's what I'm doing. And all of the other nonsense that he does, then, you know, he will be left to flounder. I don't know. I don't know what caused Louis to be this way. In a way, I feel sorry for him. He seems like he's somebody that wants to fit in so bad. Different than most that want to fit in. He doesn't seem to be. He's not someone that is quote unquote poor or quote unquote like in the wrong position in life. It seems like he has the means and the necessities to be in positions that a lot of other people might not be able to be in. And the fact that he has those means and opportunities to be in positions that a lot of other people might not be able to, the fact that he is someone that seems to be pathological in his ability to lie is very scary. I understand that Louis is young and he gets that nod from me because he is young, but he does not get a pass from me. I've called Louis a child here multiple times, but in the eyes of the law, he is an adult. And I'm just letting Louis know this. You're free to be as dumb or smart as you want to be. But, sir, I just caution you to not be dumb and stupid when it comes to me. Because your inability to differentiate the truth is very scary. And if it affects me further than this, I will let you know that I will take action against you legally or whatever else that I can possibly do. Because I think that you were in roundabout way slandering me while talking to another man that I consider to be imbalanced. I listened to him testify in court. Yeah, he's imbalanced. I listened to his own testimony. Something is wrong with him. That's from his mouth, from his doctors, his medicine, whatever's going on. So I don't know, but you guys are too crazy. Just keep my names out of your mouth. If Bob doesn't like the fact that he's being questioned and pushed, he can always resign. As soon as he resigns, as soon as he's beat, he will never see or hear me again. I wish Louis the best, but it's going to continue not being in my sphere. I see Josh say here that he is young and hasn't developed the fuck your feelings yet, and I get it. And that is one of the things I like about Josh, is Josh's ability to give people a first and second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth and 10th chance. That's something that I respect about Josh. Josh does know that puts him in a position sometimes where he can be taken advantage of. And because I care about you, Josh, I really just caution you. You know, you don't need me to tell you how to live your life, but man, just Louis is the scary kind of liar. So just be very careful with him, man. I'm telling you, he's scary. I know he's young, but sometimes that's no excuse. And I just feel like this is one of those times that he needs to wear this scarlet L for liar. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow we will be covering Muncie politics. I will also give John Reed a chance to talk. If he's still willing to come on, we'll give him a chance at the beginning of the show. I've got some big Muncie news to talk about, folks. Big Muncie news happening over the weekend. People's going crazy. Stuff is really starting to shake loose. And tomorrow is the big Tuesday show. It's when I'm going to start announcing some candidate interviews and telling you what that's going to look like. So we will see Freudian slip. We will see what happens there. Please help share the show with everyone you know. Spread the word. Please look out for Josh's video. You can get on there and see the whole thing all over again. You can watch my interview. It's up on my channel. In this video and in all of the videos, well, except Josh's because I don't have any control, I'm linking all of them. Maybe Josh will link the links to all the channel, all the videos, just so people have the ability to see everything. So please look for that. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. And be sure to hit that like on the way out if you haven't already. And we'll see you back here tomorrow for episode 23 at 9 p.m. Eastern. Good night. Yes. Don't be friends with someone that is ambiguous about sex crimes.